Dumelang, I hope you're all well. My name is Mokgadi Rameetse. Today I want to give information or share information on compliance. And we know that compliance differs from one industry to the other. But I'm going to give compliance in a generic way, particularly in South African businesses that do not operate in mandatory industry where you need to be compliant of certain regulation within that industry, because we know that when you are in tourism you'll have to comply with certain regulation regarding your hotel, your guest house, etc. When you are in construction, also when you are in financial services, when you are a lot of pharmaceutical, there are more compliance issues that you have to comply with, like a person operating even in food and beverage, even in mining. So there are those regulations that you have to comply with. But today I want us to look at the generic compliance of a company. As small businesses, we have to comply. I can't overemphasize this. It's extremely important that we comply all the time. Firstly, we have to make sure that our CIPC documents are in order. We submit our tax, our returns. I'll talk to tax later. We submit our CIPC returns every year, and this you submit like the good thing about it is that they don't give you a date. The date is the registration date of your company. It's like your birthday. If I'm born on the 3rd of June, so if my company is registered on the 3rd of June, I need to make sure that on that day I submit my returns. And regarding the fee to the returns, it will differ from one company to the other depending on your revenue, starting really from 100 rand up until 10,000 rand. So, and I know that as small businesses we pay very like 150, 100, 350. So just make sure that you put that money aside and submit it, because you don't want to be coming a few years down the line, you have not submitted. Now you need updated documents for your CIPC, and you have to go and pay the interest together with all your overdue that you have not paid over the years. So it's better to pay that 150 every year, and you know that you are sorted, ready to go, ready to be in the business. You are confident that in terms of CIPC we are sorted. Now you come to South African Revenue Services, which is our SARS. Our SARS, they are saying as a business, you need to comply with their Income Tax Return Act. Then what you do, you return income tax twice a year. And as a business, it's not like an individual. I'll talk to the individual just now. As a business, you need to provide your provisional tax return twice a year. I think it's in Feb and August. Every 6 months, just submit, and yearly make sure that your tax return is it has been submitted to SARS. It is important that you do it every year. In case you have to pay something, you know that you have paid that year and you're sorted. You are now in good standing, not only in the tender one, but you know there's a good standing of tender and the good standing, there are two tax returns, so tax clearance. So you need to be compliant on both, because a lot of us that are in business, we don't take serious of this, and you only wake up when you have to now submit a tender, and now it becomes a mess. So when you submit yearly, you are relaxed, you know that your company is sorted. And I know that as business we do not have resources to hire someone to look after our companies, but sometimes it's better to invest in those professional services of accountants, so that they can help you in your tax return, and you also make their company grow, give them something, and they help you. You're also compliant, you're also comfortable in terms of your business. So on the individual side of it, So as an individual, the South African Revenue Services will have a window open from July until November. So just make sure that between July and November you submit, because if you don't submit, year goes by and you're owing, you'll have to pay a lot of money. So to avoid paying lump sum, both in business as individual, you need to make sure that you do it yearly. And if you do even this provisional tax return as a business, you would see that you're not paying a lot. Sometimes you will even get a refund from them because you've been doing it nicely. But if you're not, you're going to be under so much pressure that you now have to make mistakes, pay them, and you don't want that mess. So to avoid the mess, do as is required by law, and you should be ready to go. So that is minimum compliance, but you also need what we call the BEE certificate. The BEE certificate it helps you, it gives you a competitive advantage. Remember, BEE is not a mandatory legislation. BEE Act, we call it a soft legislation. It's not mandatory. But if you don't have it and your competitors are having it, then they have what we call competitive advantage, and they can get a business. So you need to make sure, and as a small business, the good thing about it is that you don't, especially if your turnover is less than 10 million. Okay, let's talk about the turnovers quickly. So if your turnover is less than 10 million, you are categorized under what we call exempted micro enterprise. Then you can get a SONA affidavit, or you can get a certificate coming from CIPC. So when you submit your returns to CIPC, you then go to a box where it's called BEE, and you declare the ownership in terms of your business. Then you will get that certificate coming from CIPC. The thing that I love about that certificate is it's neat, it's nice, it looks, it's authentic. With when it comes to SONA affidavit, because if you have to print it, go to the police station, come scan it. Police station, they don't scan, you have to go to somewhere if you don't have a scanner at home. So sometimes that it just get messy, and you don't want that. So if you've got that one coming from CIP as an exempted micro enterprise, it's neat. When you submit your document for business everywhere, they can just see that neatness. Yeah. Although I'm not saying SONA affidavit, I'm saying SONA affidavit is allowed. But it's better to have SONA affidavit. It's better to have the CIPC certificate, because in that way, you don't have to be running around going to police station or looking for the Commission of Oath to certify that SONA affidavit, because if it's not certified, it will not be valid. So, and it's valid for 12 months from the date it was certified. So it's better just to have that one, and you are sorted. And then when it comes to QSE, what we call qualifying small enterprise, and your turnover is less than 50 million, and you are 51%, you are still going to get what we call level 2. If you're 100%, you're still going to get what we call level 1 in terms of the BEE. But if your turnover is over 50 million, then you need a BEE certificate. You need to be going to SANA's website, checking who is accredited with SANA's, because you need someone authentic, and authenticate. That when we say authentic, we mean who is credible, who is accredited with SANA's. So you go to SANA's website, check who is accredited, let them verify you and give you a valid certificate that is accurate, that is not going to be in question with any other person. Okay, those are generic compliance. And we said we'll deal with the industries as you comment. If you've got any industry that you're looking into and you want to comment, feel free to do that. And then there is, I want to talk about the tender bidding. I need to start making notes so that I don't forget these things. So when it comes to tendering, there are standard bidding documents. And those standard bidding documents are very, very important, that when you capture them in detail and correctly, accurately, and complete them and be honest. So if there's a conflict of interest, declare it. If you've got any directorship somewhere, declare it. Just be upfront with them, because you don't want them now finding out, and you because also you'll have submitted, remember, most of your thing is with SARS or CIPC, and it goes to central database at Treasury. So you don't want to find that there's conflict with what you have submitted and what central database is giving them. So just be honest with all your standard bidding documents upfront. And then once you have that, then you can now submit the B certificate that we spoke about. You can now submit the CIPC documents that we spoke about. You can now submit your tax clearance that we spoke about, and you are ready to go. That is if you're in generic company. But if you need additional mandatory documents in a specific sector, then you will add them, then submit a tender, and just wait for the feedback. So that is compliance. So I hope I've covered a high level of this compliance, and I hope it will help you in getting more business, because you'll be more compliant. And I hope God will bless you. And please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and then we'll continue giving information this way on this channel, and probably on other media platforms. Thanks. God bless.